guys? You ready? Are you ready for excitement? Are you ready for fun?
I'm ready.
Let's rock out.
Rock out. Yes, absolutely. All right. Hello, everyone. Here again today with the guys, with the team, and we're going to talk a little bit about the seller, the listing side of the process. How we represent sellers and that process for selling houses. So, I'm going to ask the guys, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to start asking me questions, just like the normal. It's like Ask Broker Bill. Broker Bill, what do you got about this? They say something.
Broker Bill knows it all. That's why.
I don't know it all. I wish I knew it all. I have agents in the office who have been in the business for as many years as I've been alive, and they're still learning. Because every deal, every sale, it could be slightly different.
Yeah.
Depending
And the
on
market changes too.
market changes.
You know, what happens, what is required changes, laws change.
Oh yeah, the whole thing with the commission aspect on the seller side. We'll talk about that.
Yes, we
Well, since we're talking about sellers, let's go ahead and share a little bit of the knowledge that you have. With sellers, I mean, we talked about buyers last week. Let's start off with the generic thing. What would you say are the main couple things that go behind the selling process?
So I would say the selling process is you have your pre-listing activities, right? Then you have your your actual listing time and marketing activities. And then you have your under contract activities.
So 3 phases.
So pretty much 3 phases.
Okay.
If you were to box it up, 3 things, 3 phases. So,
But should we just start talking about the preliminary stages of the first phase?
we should. I think we should do the pre-listing aspect.
Good idea. Rather than
Get it all in.
start at the beginning.
So, Bill, what would you say are some of the things that go behind getting your house ready for the listing phase? What are we doing in this pre-listing phase with the seller?
So the pre-listing phase, you're doing your initial consultation.
Okay.
You're going to set expectations. You're going to agree on price, and you're going to agree on the commission that's going to be paid. And then you're also going to talk about what activities are going to be performed. So if you're going to do staging, if you're going to offer home warranty, if you're going to do inspection, like a pre-inspection to show to the buyers as a part of their handouts that they get, that as well. And then once we do that and everybody agrees and we sign the contract, right?
Which contract?
Listing contract,
Listing
along with all
contract
the
with the
other,
agent.
listing contract, because you have to have a listing contract with the agent or broker. It details out what type of agency relationship exists between you.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's all signed and all the other paperwork is signed as well, and you've completed the seller's property disclosure, because that's a key task that needs to be performed, you're going to do your photos, you do your pre-inspection, your pre-listing inspection if you agree to opt to do one of those. That's an added cost, but if that's something that you want to do. You also have a stager come out and stage everything up before you do your pictures and have it ready for showing. And then typically what we'll do is we'll do the pictures early to midweek, right?
Yeah.
And after that, we'll make it coming soon. Try to do an open house, and we try to make the house active a day before the open house, so that they have at least one day to get in there and take a look. But in the open house is pretty much when most showings will begin.
So if I already have my furniture in my house, would it be beneficial to still have a stager come in and check out my setup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I mean, we have knowledge of those things, right?
Right.
However, sometimes it's good to have another set of eyes who does that for a living.
Right.
Just like we're real estate agents and brokers, and we do that for a living to sell houses. The stager may be like, well, if you put this over here or this, and there's different ways. It can do it really cheap where you just take pictures of the house, you send it to the stager, and they go ahead and they will give you recommendations.
Right.
Or you can go full blown out where they come out, and especially if it's a vacant house.
Vacant house is good.
Right? Vacant house, if you're like a flipper or somebody that you've already moved out and you've moved all your furniture out and the house is, you're gonna have somebody come out with, furniture and set up the house just like they would for like new construction.
Right. And you can also do it virtually.
You could.
Yeah.
We're actually starting to see a little bit more. It is another way to do that. It's a little bit more cost effective. So those are different ways.
What's cool about the virtual one is that when you do the photos, they'll show the room as it is, so that you're not surprised when you get there.
Yeah.
And then how it could look fixed up and with furniture.
Yep.
Now, one thing I've noticed is some sellers, like for sale by owners, or even some realtors, try to run through this pre-listing phase and they try to get it over with quickly because they don't really realize the importance in it. So you've talked about inspections, you've talked about getting the home warranties in order, staging. Why would you say things like this help us in the long run throughout the transaction?
So as far as the seller is concerned, for a home warranty, we've talked about this before. It provides them a little bit of reassurance that post-settlement, like after this house is sold, that hopefully they're not going to come back. Like if something breaks, because usually it does, they can go use the home warranty to help pay for that.
Yeah, it's a safety net.
It's a safety net. And, as far as the inspection, it helps with not having surprises up front. I could tell you how many times, or if you've been a home seller and you get the home inspection done, or the buyer does the home inspection, and the buyer, it comes back with all kinds of stuff on it. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know all these problems existed. And it usually surprises the seller, and they're like, and they're taken aback, and there's some resistance. Whereas if you do the inspection up front, you'll know what you're gonna have a better idea of what they're gonna find. Is the inspector gonna find every single thing? No. Everybody's human. The inspector's human. But you'll get a good idea, and at least that will allow you to address those things prior to it going on the market.
Right.
And if they come back and like, well, we want to take $5,000 off for this, we already disclosed that to you, and we already dealt with it.
Right.
So the more work you put in on the front end could save you more work on the back end.
Correct.
Yeah.
How many people do you talk to when they go through selling their house and they're stressed out, right? A lot of them are, because especially the inspection portion is so stressful, because they're like, oh my God, are they going to come back and back out the deal? Are they going to ask for a stupid amount of money for repairs? Or, you get some buyers, they give you an arm's length list of requests for repairs because the agent didn't educate them properly what really needs to be done.
Right.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you've had, when you were representing a seller and you get somebody that gives you an arm's length list of stuff, what usually happens? What does the seller usually do?
What do you mean? What does the buyer usually do?
No.
What does
When they get that list of stuff, a big list of stuff and credit requests, how does the seller usually respond when you give that to them? And I got the report back.
I'll be honest with you. I've always done such a good preliminary job that we've never gotten that big of a list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's something that's important to consider. You get it done ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you're handy, you can fix it yourself.
Sure.
Whereas the buyer might come in with somebody that's going to charge them. They're going to want you to pay for it. So you do it ahead of time. Find out what needs to get fixed.
What happens when you have a buyer who submits a big list? And even though you've done your best to say, listen, you want to narrow it down to major things, and not nickel and dime the seller for everything.
You mean other than saying go pound sand?
Yeah.
Other than that?
Yeah, pretty much. Because you give them that.
So you look at the list with your client, with the seller.
Yeah.
And you see what he's or she is willing to fix. And then you go back to the buyer and say, we'll fix these things, but the rest of them,
right,
that's insignificant to us, and we think it should be insignificant to you.
Yeah.
So there's room for negotiating.
Yeah. So that pre-inspection will hopefully eliminate a lot of that back and forth, because one, you'll be able to address it ahead of time, and it might not cost you as much money versus somebody asking for a laundry list of items along with credits, and you're upset because you're losing money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Or you could, there are different ways to handle it.
Yeah.
One would be say, okay, you want that fixed, we'll provide the contractor and we'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you the copy of the receipt. Or if they want to get their own contractor in, okay, but I want a itemized, very detailed receipt. So, yeah, you just talk through it.
So you go through this process, you get everything done. The agent takes the photos, enters them in the MLS, and then makes it coming soon, and there you get that. So what's next, guys? Rich, what's next?
What's next? Open house.
What's the next phase?
Oh, the next phase.
We
just went through a
pre-list,
right? That was happening. So there's the preliminary, and now it's active.
Right, so we got the listing and marketing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So listing and marketing phase. Make sure you're on, keep you on your toes, man.
Yeah.
All right, so listing and marketing phase, right? House is now coming soon to be active. We're going to do the, once it's active, what do we see? We start seeing showings, right?
Right, yeah.
Right? Hopefully we see showings, right?
Do you like to go active the day of the opening house, or do you like to go active, like, say you do an open house on Sunday, would you go active on Friday or Saturday, or would you just say, open house, that's our kickoff?
It depends.
What would you prefer?
I prefer a day buffer.
Okay, so like Saturday active, and then Sunday open house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because if I get showings the day before, and they like it, and then I get offers the next day, people go for the open house. If they're going to go ahead, if they're even thinking about offers, hopefully that gives them a sense of urgency to submit an offer.
Mm.
Then that will hopefully put us into a multi-offer situation.
Yeah.
And hopefully get the seller more money.
Good.
More money or better terms.
Have you ever done that where the people that went in Saturday just trashed the house? They walked in with dirty shoes and you had to clean it again before the open house?
Maybe once.
Maybe once.
But usually, I think I may have had one complaint about that. But the fix for that is just making sure that you have booties and that kind of stuff, and have a sign up saying, make sure to remove your shoes or put on the booties. And that's why you're not tracking mud. And that's important because, like, if you have a house that's got brand new flooring, new carpets, and it just rained or it just snowed, but you got to make sure of one thing when you do the booties in the wintertime.
And that is?
You want to have traction on the bottom of the booties. Why?
Yeah, why?
Because you can slip. And then you lost it. Right. I have one of those. Not for me, but
you have one of those?
Not on my clients, but other clients in the office.
Why were they walking around outside with booties on?
No.
Oh, they were inside with booties?
So they were inside, and the floors were wet for some reason. Because what happens when people come to the house, you ever notice, when you do showings, if you don't tell the clients to take off the booties when they go out onto the back deck to go look at the backyard, they'll go walk on the deck, they'll put their booties on, leave their booties on,
Yeah.
and then walk back into the house, and now they got wet and dirty
Yeah.
dirty booties.
Yeah, I always take a towel with me in those days.
I'm just gonna say this is a completely side topic. Watching you guys talk about booties for so long is really just been amazing. It's been great.
We should do a podcast just on open houses, though.
We could. We'll do that at a later
that's
date.
fine.
That's fine.
All right.
That'd be good.
All right, so you're going through showings, you're getting feedback.
Yeah.
Hopefully getting offers.
Yes. So once we get the offers, if we get one offer, then we're going to present it. But it also depends on what you, the seller, want.
Right.
Because there's a couple ways you can do it. You can say, okay, we're going to set this time when all the offers come in. So we're going to present all offers at this time.
Right.
That's if you're in a scenario where you're getting multiple offers. Don't set a time ahead of time for when you need to have offers in by.
Right.
When you don't have any offers.
But as soon as you get an offer,
Then you go out and then you can tell it.
right, highest and best.
That's the best. Then you can set a time. I have seen situations where, and actually we're starting to see situations where buyers are upset that they did not get the deal, and they're reporting people to the real estate commission because they feel that they were either discriminated against or not fairly treated when the offer was submitted. So you kind of have to be careful with that. But another way is just to get offers submitted. If the seller wants to see them as they come in, and they can make a decision,
Right.
and you can do it that way too. But what you're going to do is, as a seller, when an offer comes in, that doesn't mean you have to accept the offer as is.
Right, that's true.
You can counter. Say, what are some things that you guys have seen that they come back and that sellers have countered on?
Price.
Price, that's one.
I'll see them come back, say they've gotten an offer in around that range that the sellers are looking for higher. Price is the main thing.
What else?
Deposit.
Deposit's
Amount
another
of the
one.
deposit.
Somebody comes in really late on the deposit, they come in for like $1,000 deposit.
Yeah.
How comfortable do you think the seller feels about that?
No, not that comfortable. Settlement date as well is another one.
Right. Because say, for example, they need, what is a big thing that like sellers are worried about right now when they go and they look at when they get an offer on their house or even listing their house?
Yeah.
What is it?
They want to know that it's sold.
What else? Where are they going to go?
Yeah, true.
Right? Because they get worried. They're like, well, I need time to find a house. So say if you have a seller.
Yeah.
He has actually, or she, has to buy their next house. So they need a bigger window of time to be able to find that house. So if you have somebody comes in, I'll give you a 21, 30 day close. Is that going to work for that type of seller? No. That's our job as the agent, to help negotiate that with you and to help get you the best deal for your situation.
I've even seen some agents come back and ask for a shorter contingency period as well
Yeah.
to try and get through that quicker.
Shorter contingency period for inspections, shorter contingency period for when the deposit has to be submitted. Because you remember that one time you were like, hey Bill, maybe we can shorten it up to 1 day.
Yeah.
Because they want that deposit quick.
Yeah, that worked. That worked.
Right?
Yeah.
So as a seller and a listing agent, what are you looking for in these offers as far as which one you're accepting if you get a multiple offer situation?
What do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously you're looking for best and highest, but that's not the only thing that goes behind it. There's people who may come in offering the world, but then they don't come in with an appraisal gap. So next thing you know, their offer's falling through and they're asking to renegotiate the price later on anyways. There's other people who come in with home inspections or sewage inspections. Next thing you know, a little thing pops up there that they might just be over adamant about and want to back out the deal. There's a lot of different things that pop up, but in my eyes, it's least contingencies, highest offers.
And what else? What else is the other big factor, or can be the other big factor with winning a deal?
So you said appraisal gap. Highest. I mean, highest is self-explanatory, but best. What are the things that make the offer?
financing type maybe as well.
That's part.
Yeah.
We're leaving out one very important person.
Me?
Yeah. The agent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The agent is an important aspect as well. And I'm telling you this because I've had situations where I've won deals because of the other agent knew me and they said that they wanted to work with me. And I wasn't the highest offer on the table or the best type of loan terms. Like I had one where it was a
Sounds
VA.
fishy to me.
It was a VA loan, and they had other offers that were conventional, and they took mine because they knew they would get the deal done.
Agent
That's
reputation.
Yeah.
So, the agent you choose can be very important.
Right.
Which is why it's important to use an agent because there's a lot of different steps in the process that you got to get you to, versus if you were to sell it on your own.
Not every agent's the same, and every agent has different levels of experience and knowledge.
Yes, correct. So you go ahead and decide on one of the offers,
Right.
and then you, the seller, sign off on the contract.
Right.
And at that point in time, that's when it's under contract. Okay. So what's the next phase, Lucas?
So from there, you're entering your essentially post-list phase, where you're going through
Under contract phase, right?
Yep, you're under contract phase. Buyers going through their inspections and contingency periods. During this period, you're going to be going through title conveyancing, but I'll let you answer this. What are some of the biggest things that a seller is doing once they accept the offer?
So there's a few things. The first thing is they're going to go through the inspection process.
Yep.
Right? They're going to go through the inspection process, and it's one of the bigger parts of it if the buyer chooses to do inspections.
Right.
If the buyer doesn't choose to do inspections, it's a wash. But the inspections piece is one of the biggest pieces because they are going to submit. They're going to do the inspection within the appointed time, whatever it is. In Pennsylvania, it's typically 10 days. I think in New Jersey it is too. And then you go through that, and then once the buyer submits their request for, or their reply to inspection, as we call it, request for repairs or credits or both, then the agent, us, will take that to the seller and we're going to talk about it. Just like you said, Rich, you're going to go through it and be like, yep, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm not going to do 5, 6, and 7.
Right.
Or, and I've seen this done too, and I think this is kind of cleaner. You'll say, okay, I'm going to give you a $10,000 credit, and I'm not going to do any repairs. Or it could be a hybrid. It could be, well, I'll do these 2 repairs here, but I'm going to give you a $3,000 credit for this. But that's the negotiation process and the strategy that you work with your agent on to be able to help you to get through that part. We're also the calming effect when it comes to that, because you want to make sure you got to remember it's not personal.
Right.
And we don't, sometimes sellers, they kind of take it personal because it's their house. It's their house, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe all this. And if you're on your own, well, then you could end up destroying a deal just because you don't have a third party helping guide you through that process, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So once you get through that, everybody agrees on what the repairs are. Then you're working with either the agent or broker is ordering all of your conveyancing items, or you have an actual person that's helping with getting a hold of those things, which is all like your certifications, your mortgage payoffs, that type of stuff. The other aspect in the under contract phase is the appraisal. If they are not a cash buyer, right? If they are not a cash buyer, or it's not contingent upon them getting a mortgage.
Right.
Right? Then they get the appraisal. If the house appraises, great. You keep moving forward in the process. If it does not appraise, it's not appraised. Sometimes, like you said, there'll be an appraisal gap, right? Or the buyer and the seller can, like between the agents, can come up with, okay, it's $20,000 off. Seller may say, I'll drop my price by $10,000. Buyer will say, okay, I'll bring $10,000 more to the table. Or whatever they agree to, right?
I would say that that's one of the things that you would handle pre-contract signing to make sure that if it doesn't appraise, that you're not the one that's carrying the.
It doesn't always, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but that usually comes in the form of like an appraisal gap or whatever.
Right.
Or it comes apart as an appraisal contingency.
Yeah.
And it can be written into that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So that's another way. And then the most least favorable is if the buyer is like, you know what, I'm not paying a dime more than what it's appraised for, and I'm going to terminate it. We can do that too.
Yeah.
If there's an appraisal contingency or if it's an FHA loan. But saying all things well, we get through the appraisal, the buyer gets their final loan commitment, then all we're doing is we're scheduling the walkthrough.
Yep.
Okay? And we're going to settlement. And settlement, you bring all your keys, and that's the day you move out, and that should be the day that you get your check or your wire with the proceeds from the sale.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And if there are issues with finding a place to go, you can rent it back.
Yeah.
Instead of giving them the keys,
Yeah.
rent it back for a month or an agreed upon time period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, when do we usually see that?
When they haven't listed their house yet.
Yeah, that's one way.
Yeah.
What about if they're going into new construction?
Yeah, also that.
Right.
Yeah.
And their house isn't going to be ready for 2 weeks, but they need the proceeds
Right.
to buy the next house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
a good one.
but these are all steps in the process, right? And this is why it's advantageous to use a realtor, because there's a lot of different little steps that go along that the realtor will be able to help keep you on track, and will also help you coach you through the process to ensure they get you to the final day. Right?
I think there's a million unanswered questions, and we kind of hit a lot of the main steps, but there's still 100 other steps that go on behind the scenes that an experienced realtor who's knowledgeable is there to answer and there to walk you through.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So that's just our basic nitty-gritty on selling your house or listing your house. You did bring up next time maybe we'll do an open house,
Yeah.
and what you do for that.
Yeah.
So, and I know that you do have another one that you want to talk about too.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit next week, but I want to talk about, or maybe the week after, a little bit more about investments. We have a lot of investors out there. The investor market's hot. Things go quickly, especially when it's priced correctly. So, you know, what to look for, what type of properties you want to buy, you know, which route you want to take, and go from there.
All right. All right, folks. We enjoyed having you. Hope you enjoyed our topic, and we will see you all soon.
See you guys.